hardest, I'm sure this is the hardest thing as a media buyer, right?
Tell me.
Is creative. Like if just getting good quality, consistent, so what's the trick? Or what is like, actually let me ask this question, 2 different questions, because the trick, that's a bad question. What's the ideal scenario that you should be feeding your media buyers so that they are capable of constantly growing your audiences and constantly having
fresh content?
Yeah.
Fresh content. So we work on we believe we're iteratives, not perfectionists, so everything can get better. With that frame of mind, we have the typical Mashable video. Anybody knows what the company Mashable is? They have a style of, it's very Quentin Tarantino, where they show exactly what the end outcome is going to be, but then they walk you through with edutainment, educational entertainment of like text overlay. That's what we call our toolkit. It's on every single piece of creative we run with. Influencer testimonials, which is at the validation step of the funnel. It's probably middle funnel. I'm not against introducing with a big influencer. There's major moments where you can capitalize and build the suspense, because every single campaign is a 3-week, in my mind, a 3-week campaign, or technically a month-long campaign. The pre, the during, the post, and the extended, right? If it's going well, it's always going to be extended, right? Cyber Monday lasted me 13 days. That's what happens when it works. You just keep it going. So in the prep, I'm going to talk about how we plan for the 30 biggest moments for these brands' time. A lot of the time, the revenue is, it's 30 to 40% of your revenue in these last quarter, these last months. The learnings, what worked and what didn't work. And again, take what you can out of what's happening, and I want you to understand holistically, it's not as complicated as you think. I promise, I'm not sitting here saying like, oh, you can do it too. I generally think you guys can do this too. And you'll see by when we have the creatives and the landing pages, I'm gonna show the ads that are working, the brands, and I wanna keep it as collaborative as possible. And I'm gonna end it with interruptions. Like, I would love to invite interruptions. I would love to invite collaboration. But with that, I'll get right into it. We've been there, we've done that, we've spent it. This lives on our wall. It's visitors times conversion rate equals AOV. That's where your money is. Everything rolls up into this. There's nothing that's different here. If you can increase the traffic, increase the conversion rate, and increase AOV, you will be profitable. Pretty straightforward. Every single campaign leading right up into it, especially on a major holiday moment, the CPMs are going to get most expensive right as that peak day happens, okay? So with that being said, if we put the frame around Black Friday, Cyber Monday, how do we win when it's the cheapest, most cost-effective around CPMs? Now, I'm not saying CPMs are like what we need to be watching. I think it's a leading indicator. I'm not telling you that like a high CPM means no profit. That's not the case. But it's something to be conscious of. It's going to cost you a little more. You got to be able to make sure you back out, which leads us into when do we spend? Okay, so this is a major one. We're going to get back to this. So this is a data reminder to know, like, I want to throw this out there for you thinking delayed attribution. It's a funny word to talk about, specifically about Facebook. Now I'm not talking about multimedia mixes where you have to track attribution. I'm talking just on Facebook alone. If you don't know what's going to happen in 1 day, on your 7 day, in your 28 day, you're leaving money on the table. And one of the debates I really want to talk about is, I think I brought it up to Van this morning, is like, do we want profit, or do we want majority of new purchasers because we know we have a great LTV and we can get repurchase rate much higher? Or do I want just straight margin? I'm only going to spend $20,000, and that's what I'm going to take. And I think even Colin, you and I, on our drive up here, man, we debated. I can't wait to open it up just so we can continue to debate. We had a 4-hour drive from Orange County, and we just went after it. So the main thing about this is understanding that you will get a lift when. When is that lift going to happen? It's always going to happen right before that peak moment, because if you look at the spend distribution, which we'll get into, you're prospecting primarily, introducing the brand to some of these new products, and the way we structure a lot of our campaigns is we only win if we're acquiring new customers. That's how I know I'm providing you a value, is I'm not just smashing your remarketing list and bumping up all the AOV or bumping up all the return, so it looks like we're doing well. Again, it's very important of when you know these days are coming for you. This is just it's a little more of an extension of the previous slide of when we saw the most of our lift. If we're going to win for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, or just any key moment, I really do believe it's going to be primarily around how big your AOV is. AOV is simply around how we bundling, how are we moving all the products into a single purchase. And now where a lot of our brands are is we have our traditional e-commerce store, but we also run 90% of what we're doing on a single product funnel that has multiple product bundles on the back end of it. So brands like BioTrust, brands like Snows, the first purchase that they have, we're hoping to be profitable, of course. It's not always going to happen. We know the LTV and we know the repeat purchase rate for a lot of these brands, so we're able to kind of take a lower return as we push for higher spends. Major one to highlight is this is the week right before the event, and these numbers were actualized once the campaign had been completely finished. So for Facebook's attribution window of 28 days, this is when we look back. What I would do in the future is I'd map on what that day was, that individual day when that day ended, and then try to see what that lift is, which I provide a little bit of a calculator you guys can use as we move in. Again, reiterating on AOV.